AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Shut up, kid. Cassie Spazelli.
Oh, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do.
Muso.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. LSU-OU series gets underway tonight at the box. Kendall Rogers in 15 minutes. Hour 3, we'll have our buddy Eddie Rasadovich. I was going Eddie Rado there. Give us the OU perspective. Ross Jackson next hour. Yeah, you're right. Returns to dude. The Pelicans decided to be good. Have you noticed this? They won 4 of 5. And the one they lost against Houston, they blew it.
They did.
Graf.
Yeah, you're right.
Is James Borrego the guy? Is he?
Hire him.
Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Before we go any further, breaking news. Before we go any further into the show today, have some excellent news to share. I've been handed a horrific and terrifying story. Amazing news. The AFR family has grown. Paul and Sam O'Neill are proud parents times 2. How about it? Let's go. So they have baby Opal, Opal is 3? Opal's 3. And Sam yesterday gave birth to baby boy O'Neill, Matthew George Moscona O'Neill.
I don't think that's his name. No.
Yep, that's
no.
what they're going to call him.
Oh, no.
That's what I heard. That's Cassie, isn't that what you heard? They're going with Matthew George Moscona O'Neill?
I don't know. That's a lot of names.
I mean, Paul is Paul O'Neill the third.
True.
I mean, so you're going to go with the fourth, Matthew George Moscona O'Neill. 4 names for the fourth. Instead of naming him Paul the fourth.
But then he wouldn't be the 4th because it's not Paul.
Instead of naming him Paul the fourth.
All right.
Did you not listen to the words I just said out of my mouth?
I didn't hear that part, I'm going to be honest.
Cassie, you see like every day you see what I mean?
This is every day?
Every day.
It's not every day.
Thank you.
It's not every day.
I mean, he takes this beautiful thing about baby O'Neill coming into the world and then makes it all about him. That's what he
I
does.
didn't do that.
That's what he does. He's made this whole thing about him.
No, that's not true at all. I didn't suggest they name the child after me. That's what you did.
And then you just took that moment and said, you know what, I'm going to derail the whole thing because it's always about you, Muse. Always about you. Matthew George Moscona O'Neill the fourth.
The 4th? He's not would be the 4th. Luda.
We'll see. I don't know when Paul's going to be back. In the meantime, Cassie and Taylor are going to pinch hit, but we're fired up for Paul and for Sam. Mostly for Sam, because while we love Paul, Sam had to do all the work. She had to carry that baby for 9 months and then actually give the birth. And so for having given the birth, we congratulate her and salute her. But mom and baby are doing awesome. They in all seriousness, they have not yet decided on a name for baby boy O'Neal yet. So I don't know if they're going to go Paul the Fourth. They haven't made that decision. What I understand is that Matthew George Moscona O'Neal is on the table.
I don't think it is, though.
They're considering it.
Okay.
It's in the hopper. It could be. So we'll see. All right. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We're going to get to Kendall Rogers in 10 minutes. The New Orleans Saints are going to host Mansoor Delane on a top 30 visit, and I love this. So Kellen Moore said last week when he had his media availability after the first wave of free agency, when he was asked, do you draft need or best available? And I'm paraphrasing, but ultimately it's the thing that everybody wants to do. You want to have enough good players to where you can draft just the best available. But that's just not always the case. I mean, sometimes you go into the draft needing to use your first pick to address a need, a must. I've given you several examples. I mean, the best one is probably Eric McCoy. Max Unger abruptly retired. The Saints needed a center. They drafted Eric McCoy. Sometimes it goes like that. The Saints have roster holes that they have to fill, but I don't know necessarily that it's one of those things that they're looking at 8 saying it's got to be this position. I think we can definitively look and say what it won't be. Like, they're not going to take a quarterback at 8. Tyler Shuck is their guy going into this year. We'll see as the sample size grows if that's the right decision long term. We all hope it is. They're not drafting an offensive tackle. They've done that the last 2 years. They've got their bookend tackles. They're not drafting an interior offensive lineman. You've got your 3 starters there, including Edwards, who you just paid $61 million to in free agency. So you can eliminate. You're not drafting Jeremiah Love. You just paid Travis Etienne $51 million. He's your guy. By the way, you notice how that's rolling off the tongue? I mean, we're really
You're
getting
in a groove. Yeah,
we're
you're in a
getting
groove. It didn't
into a
take
rhythm.
long.
No.
It didn't take long.
No, we're there. I think we're there. But I think the point is they're going to be looking at the combo of best available at position of need. Unless if there's a situation where there's a player on the board that they have like as the number 2 overall player in the draft, they're sitting there at 8, and it's great. It's just such great value they can't pass. I don't know that they're going to look that way. They could certainly use the 8th pick on a receiver if Carnell Tate from Ohio State is there. They could certainly use that 8th pick on an edge rusher, and there's no shortage of them. Maybe it's Bain from Miami, or there's a lot of guys that would fit that would check that box. And the Saints, especially if they don't re-sign Cam Jordan, are going to be looking for youth and an opportunity there at edge rusher, but really at every level of the defense. You went and signed Caden Ellis, but is he your heir apparent to Demario Davis, or are you still looking for an off-the-ball linebacker? Maybe it's Sonny Styles who could play Will or Sam. You understand the point. Like, you need help everywhere. But I always look, if you're going to pick in the top 10 at positional value. The reason that I've been so adamantly opposed to Jeremiah Love at 8 is not Jeremiah Love. It's you don't take a running back at 8. You can get great value at running back later in the draft. The guy who was just the MVP of the Super Bowl is Kenneth Walker, 2nd-round pick. You're not going to have an opportunity ever to draft Derek Stingley outside of the top 10. You're just not going to be able to draft Pat Surtain in round 2 or 3. It's just like, if you want a true elite number 1 lockdown corner who could potentially be the best cornerback in the NFL, you're not getting that guy outside of the top 10, generally speaking. So I look at Mansoor Delane and I go, my goodness, this may be a situation where if the Saints value Delane like that, that could just make too much sense at number 8. And the other thing is, we just rattled off several of the positions that the Saints are not going to be drafting. Like, they're not drafting a quarterback. Great. Fernando Mendoza is going number 1. So now you got 7 more players, 7 more picks, or 6 more till they get to you. So you hope those offensive linemen come off the board. You hope Jeremiah Love comes off the board, maybe 4 to Tennessee. So every time a player is taken at a position you're not drafting, it drops a player at a position you might draft to you. So it might be a situation where the Saints are sitting there at 8 and Mansoor Delane is there, and it makes so much sense. I mean, we've gone through this before, but Delane was a unanimous All-American. He should have won the Thorpe. He was the best defensive back in college football. Caleb Downs won it because he was a more famous player. He's been very good for 3 years, and he won a Lifetime Achievement Award, not because he was a great defensive back in 2025. He has been a great player for 3 years. But Mansoor Delane, this year, his overall defensive grade was a 90.5. That led LSU. His coverage grade was a 90.7. The only thing that dinged Mansoor Delane was his pass rush grade as a 66.4. I got news for you, Coach. Mansoor Delane ain't rushing the passer. He's locking down and your best receiver. Mansoor Delane on the season, gave up 14 catches. In 11 games, remember he didn't play the bowl game and he missed the Western Kentucky game. In 11 games, Mansoor Delane gave up 14 catches and did not allow a touchdown. He was awesome. And when you look at what the Saints have at cornerback presently, you let Alontae Taylor walk, but as we look at, like, if you go to PFF, and again, PFF is just, we always say, it's a metric. It's not the metric. It's something to consider. But if you go look at every cornerback in the NFL and list them by their coverage grade on PFF, Kool-Aid McKinstry was number 43 in the NFL. 43. Now, there's some guys on this list who played a limited number of games. Like the highest ranked cornerback in the NFL was Elijah Huzzie from Houston, played in 1 game. Okay, so like you throw him out. So if you're looking at qualifying players, that would still put Kool-Aid as like a bottom tier starter, okay? After Kool-Aid, and you start looking at the other cornerbacks from New Orleans where they rank on this list from a season ago, Alontae Taylor was 58. Again, Alontae Taylor just got paid like a top 10 cornerback in the NFL. He was 58th in coverage grade this past season. All that to say, and Quincy Riley was not, I was looking at a second ago. Quincy Riley was 90, doggone it, I had it. There it is, 97th. So when you hear me say I think Kool-Aid and Quincy Riley are good players, neither of them is an elite, true, number one lockdown cornerback. This is sort of evidence of that. I think Kool-Aid could be a very good number 2. And I think Quincy Riley could be a really good nickel, your 5th defensive back. But if I'm looking at who's going to go man up on Jamar Chase on the outside, or JSN, or Puka Nacua, or Justin Jefferson, pick your elite level number 1 receiver, whoever you think it is. If Kool-Aid has to go get up in Jamar Chase's jock for 65 defensive snaps, how do you think that's going to go? I don't think that's going to go great. Mansoor Delane, I think that could go good for my team. Think young Marshawn Lattimore when you had a true number 1 lockdown corner. That's what you're looking for. Not a starter, a true number 1 lockdown corner that you can get in the top 10. And maybe that's Mansoor Delane. If they pull the trigger on him at 8, I would be ecstatic. We'll see what they do as we inch closer here to the NFL draft. The Saints will be hosting Mansoor Delane on a top 30 visit. Okay, show up in Everyday's brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the Tigers. LSU, Oklahoma tonight, game 1 of the series. You're going to be at the box. Make sure you grab plenty of delicious ice cold Bud Light. Watching it at your house, stop by the store, grab a bunch of Bud Light. Maybe you're going to watch it at your favorite bar, restaurant. Order delicious ice cold Bud Light. Ask for it by name. The official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of AFR. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Okay, we're going to knock out a break. Thursday shows presented by Decision Critical. When we come back, Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, preview LSU, Oklahoma, the rest of the weekend ahead in the Southeastern Conference. Don't you move.
AFR.
REV. Let's rev. Let's rev.com. Let's rev.com. Let's rev.com. Backed by 90 years of local experience and all fiber network, lightning fast internet speeds. Could 70,000 Louisiana homeowners and business owners really be wrong? I don't think so. We have Rev at Casa de Scone. We're Rev customers at Parish Construction and Roofing. We're Rev customers here at Guarantee Media. If you want lightning fast internet speeds, a great local network with a local call center, if you need customer service, it's 100% local service and support. You're not routed to an overseas call center. They're answering your call right here in South Louisiana, and they've been servicing South Louisiana since 1935. Y'all have a dedicated account representative for business customers as well. So if it's for your home or your business, Let's Rev. R-E-V. Let'sRev.com. Let'sRev.com. Let'sRev.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalVR.com.
Getting ready the way that we do, we have a good plan for today, very specific to what we need to do to be successful this weekend against a really good team. Micro focus right now, and that's simplifying is a big part of coaching well, developing players well, and so we'll prepare to get the players to do what we need them to do this weekend, and that's really the only thing I'm even thinking about.
Jay Johnson getting set to host Oklahoma this weekend at the Box. Game 1 tonight's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Our buddy Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, good enough to hang out as he does every Thursday, preview the weekend ahead in the Southeastern Conference. Yo, man, how are you?
I am doing well. It's kind of a strange week with LSU not being in our top 25. So, yeah, it's definitely a little different.
Justified. So it's interesting, Kendall. The convo here after the Vanderbilt series is, look, they were a pitch away from winning the series. But there's also real flaws that are very evident. So find yourself somewhere on that sliding scale. Where are you?
Yeah, I would say my panic meter, I'm probably like a 4 now. I think last week when we talked, I was at a 2. I think I'm probably at about a 4. I mean, here's the thing. I have no doubt this team can kind of turn things around. But, I mean, we're, 3 straight weeks now where we've kind of seen the same team to some degree. And so, I mean, at some point you are what you are. But I do think when you look at this team overall, I like the way they battled back at the series finale. I think people are 100% right. They were a pitch away from taking the series. But, again, the thing that has hampered this team over the last few weeks, once again, kind of reared its ugly head a little bit over the weekend in the sense that, you know, when the offense was kind of dialed in, the pitching staff struggled and vice versa. I mean, you look over the weekend and the 2 losses, I mean, LSU walked 21 guys. And I don't care if you're playing Sacramento State, Vanderbilt, or Nicholls State. Like, if you walk 21 guys in 2 games, the chances of you losing one of those games or 2 of those games is really good. So I just think for LSU, it's like they have yet to play, I would say, a completely clean weekend. Because even if you go back to Jack, I mean, you could argue that the pitching that weekend wasn't the best. So I think their best days are ahead. Or, I mean, they could just continue to be this team all year long. I mean, that's a possibility, too. I think it would surprise me, but it's a possibility at this point.
Kendall, LSU hosts Oklahoma, who won 2 out of 3 at home last week against A&M. Give me your takeaway from the Sooners' opening weekend series win against A&M.
Yeah, I like their club a lot. You know, I saw them opening weekend. I watched a couple of their games last weekend against A&M. And the thing about OU is I would not call them like an overwhelming offensive team, but I would call them a very opportunistic offensive team. If you walk 21 guys in 2 games, Oklahoma will easily put up double-digit runs in those games. You know, if you look at their lineup, you know, Camden Johnson, their third baseman, a transfer from Wichita State, is off to a really nice start. Jackson Willits, you know, everybody kind of knows him at the middle. I'd say the guy for me this weekend to keep an eye on is Brendan Brock. He was a junior college transfer behind the plate. Really unique player. He's an elite defensive catcher, but he's also a base-stealing threat. He's an extremely athletic catcher. He's got power. He's the guy I kind of circled this weekend. I think for me on the mound with OU, top of mind would be L.J. McCurious. And, oh, by the way, our guy Cam Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Cam had been really, really good through 4 starts. Last week in A&M, walked 7 guys. You guys have seen that story before. So I'll be very curious to see what Cam does against the Tigers this weekend. Does he go back to who he was those first 4 starts, or was kind of last weekend the start of resorting back to what he used to be? And then Mercurius was just okay against A&M, but again, he's a guy to 96, 97 with a wicked slider when he is on. So keep an eye on him.
Yeah, what do you expect from Cam tonight against this LSU lineup?
Well, you know, A&M was patient against him. A&M made him throw strikes. When I watched him last week, he really struggled with that slider to his arm side. And, again, if I remember right, I mean, he was probably a few inches off the plate with that. So unless the umpire tonight has a massive zone, he's going to have to throw the ball over the plate. And of course, if you're LSU, you're like, hey, you're going to throw it over the plate. You're almost trying too hard to throw it down the middle. We'll gladly take that. So I'm very curious to see what the zone is like. I think that will dictate how he does.
I got one more on LSU. As they've kind of searched for offense, is there anything that you may, like if you were advising Jay, I don't know that he's coming to call you to ask for advice, but if you were advising, like what I know, but like what's something you might like to see them try or do?
Man, that's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you try differently. I mean, the thing is, the guys that he's starting are the guys that should probably be starting. So it's more stuff like, hey, can we just get a little consistency? Just kind of going back to look at the weekend. I mean, I was looking back at the weekend before I got on this call, and it's like, Trent Carraway, no hit. Zach York, 1 for 9 for the weekend. Seth Dardar, 1 for 8 for the weekend. I mean, that's 2 powerful components in that lineup who did absolutely nothing for the weekend. But, who are you going to throw in there? You're going to throw in Serna. I mean, I don't know what you do.
Serna?
Maybe. I mean, he did have that big home run in the midweek a couple weeks ago. You got to trust something. Yeah. I mean, at least he has shown that he has kind of a flair for the dramatic and kind of that clutch gene a little bit.
Yeah. I'm curious because with Serna, because you have this gigantic ceiling, right? And it's like, do you just let him see how he could approach it? But
one thing I'm kind of wondering, I mean, I don't even know if they could tinker this way, but I mean, can Serna, I mean, I know this sounds kind of crazy, but like, can Serna shift over to first base somehow and put York on the bench and let him think about it for a weekend?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of anything.
Some combination of catcher first DH. I think you're getting to the point where if you just said it right, when you're counting on a guy like Dardar or Carraway and they're not performing, and especially for a guy like Dardar who defensively is kind of a liability, Kendall, like why are you in there? Like maybe it's one of those things where you find a spot for another guy who's going to give you at least something positive. It'll be interesting. I don't know what Jay's going to do. It'll be interesting to see. Hey,
I mean, even Zach York. I mean, if Zach York is not raking, like what is his value?
Yeah.
I would argue there's not much value, if any value there, if he's not raking.
Yeah. He's on Twitter at Kendall Rogers. Give him a follow, d1baseball.com. You got a top 5 series this weekend with Texas and Auburn. I tell you what, Auburn last weekend. And then in the midweek, winning the game against Georgia Tech the way they did, kind of put a lot of people on alert. Give me a sense of what you might think here with Texas and Auburn and what feels like a big prove-it spot for Auburn.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing about Auburn last weekend is I thought their pitching stepped up against Missouri. Jake Marciano, a Virginia Tech transfer, kind of one of the cool stories of college baseball this year on the mound. I mean, he's a guy that I think he made 14 starts for the Hokies last year, had an ERA well over 6. With Butch Thompson so far this year has been almost unhittable. He's been awesome at the front of the rotation. The thing that's interesting about Auburn is, the guys like the Chris Rimberts and, Chase Fralick's been good. He hasn't been incredible. Like they have guys who can really hit, who haven't quite gotten red hot yet. So that's something I keep an eye on this weekend. I think for Texas, Casey Borda will be a name to watch this weekend. He's a guy that I think when I saw them in Houston, I want to say he was hitting like 215 or something. I mean, he's now up to almost 340 with elite power production. Aiden Robbins certainly off to a nice start offensively, and he's a guy that, from a draft perspective, is surging up the draft boards right now. So I expect a lot of offense in that series, and frankly, I think that's kind of the theme in this league this weekend. I think like Georgia and A&M, I'll be at one of those games there on Saturday, and I think it's supposed to be 92 degrees with a south wind of like 15 to 20. And those two teams it's like bombs away with those two teams. Yeah. So, like, I'm pretty excited about that series. Like, I was telling somebody the other day, like, if you're in a hurry, that is not the series for you. That one is going to last forever.
So, but I was going to ask you about Georgia A&M next because the The hardest thing to reconcile with Georgia is that they're a different team away from Foley Field. It's, 310 down the right field line. The power alleys are like 365. So it's super hitter friendly. It's bombs away, but they leave that park and they're just a different offense because they're not playing in a bitty ballpark anymore. So what do you make of Georgia, Texas A&M this week? Like, do you think that offense will travel for Georgia?
I think it will, just because the elements are in their favor. I mean, Daniel Jackson, I think he has 14 home runs already this year. Caden Sorrell for A&M has 11 home runs. So I do think it travels this weekend because the elements suggest it. But, I mean, there have been plenty of theories on why Georgia's splits home and away are so different. A lot of them are rather interesting theories.
I got one.
Yeah,
they play in a bitty ballpark. Like, it ain't hard. Check swing pop-ups leave the yard down the right field line. It's absurd. It's an absurd place to play baseball.
Yeah, it makes Lindsey Nelson in Knoxville look like a big league park.
Yes, it's anyway. Whatever. I could go down this whole thing, Kendall. Like, baseball traditionalists hate when I say this. Like, I think we should have uniform dimensions to every ballpark. We have uniform dimensions of home plate. 90 feet to first base, 60 feet 6 inches. Like, why do I have a 310-foot or 315 down the line or 320 down the line at Vanderbilt with a 30-foot wall? It's stupid. Like, it's dumb.
I mean, imagine if like Tiger Stadium in football, is only 70 yards long.
Yeah, let's have a 20-yard end zone. Like, that's what we'll do.
Hey, we have a really good rushing attack this year. We're going to make the field 50 yards long.
We're gonna have uprights where the crossbar is actually 40 yards long. I mean, like, whatever. Okay. Anyway, all right. Give me one series outside of the SEC that you're keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I think for me, NC State at Florida State. We don't really know what to make of NC State yet. It's kind of crazy, but I mean, we're 5 weeks or going in our 6th week into the season, and NC State still hasn't really played anybody. I mean, they played Boston College, who's decent last weekend. But NC State can really hit. Can they really hit against a good team? Florida State, tell you what, man, I mean, they're on a heater right now on the mound. I mean, Wes Mendez and Ole Miss kicked back was awesome last weekend at Wake Forest. They just shut down the Deeks on the road. And then they had threw a no-hitter, their 11th no-hitter in program history, on Tuesday against Bethune-Cookman. So you're talking about a team that can really hit going against a club that is probably the hottest pitching team in college baseball right now.
He's Kendall Rogers, D1Baseball.com. Get him at Kendall Rogers. Hey, man, we always appreciate the time. Thank you.
You got it, brother. Have a good weekend.
All right, be well. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Supper Club. Need dinner plans tonight? Go start the weekend early over at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com is where you can get your reservation, but remember, you can always walk in. It's open seating at the bar. 14 bar stools, 7 tables in the bar area. So if you don't have a reservation, you can still go by Supper Club and have the meal of your life. Tomorrow, Friday, in Lent. A lot of people think, I'm not going to go to Supper Club because I'm not eating meat. Great. Go to Supper Club and get the Chilean sea bass or the scallops or that Ora King salmon or the lobster or the crudo or the tuna or the stone crabs or the Alaskan king crab legs. I mean, incredible seafood options at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. But if you're going to eat a steak, go to Supper Club. All right, it's After Further Review. We'll knock out a break. We'll go around the SEC. Ross Dellinger is going to be with us in 45 minutes because he's going to explain something that they're kind of terming the Lane Kiffin rule that Congress is considering. I'll give you a little bit of a preamble to that conversation when we come back, and we'll go around the SEC. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, get Gordon and get it done. I actually was talking with or texting with G yesterday. If you're in an accident and it's not your fault, you need representation. Our friends at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, they can help. Always encourage you. You can go read reviews, great reviews of Gordon McKernan and his team. They got plenty of those testimonials up at the website. There's a great one about Brandon Stockstill, one of the attorneys, said, I can't begin to explain how great my lawyer, Brandon Stockstill, was during my case. Went above and beyond, helped me from the beginning to the very end, kept me informed the whole case. At times felt like giving up. He was there to keep me motivated. Thanks to everyone that helped my case. You guys are truly amazing. Another 5-star review for Gordon and his team over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
After After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Russ Dellinger is going to join us in about a little more than half hour from right now. Many of you probably know Ross lives in D.C., and so a lot of the business of sports and some of these legalities he's covering there on Capitol Hill. And he has a piece today over at On3. Ross writes for Yahoo, but he's a contributor over at On3 as well. He writes a piece a week at On3. Well, one of the things that Congress is considering as an amendment to the SCORE Act is what they're kind of referring to as the Lane Kiffin rule. And what may be baked into this is a window that would allow coaching hires to be made. It was basically what we should say is it would prohibit coaches from being poached during this window, like during the season or outside of this window. So it would effectively prevent a coach from leaving his team during the season, which I think everybody would be okay with. I know the narrative nationally is Lane Kiffin left his team during the playoffs. Here, people are going to be sort of more pro Lane Kiffin and arguing that he wanted to stay with his team throughout the playoffs. He didn't want to not coach his team. He wanted to coach his team, and Ole Miss wouldn't let him. I've said a million times, there's no way they should have let him coach if he was leaving. Ole Miss did the right thing. But similarly, if Lane Kiffin wanted to leave, he had to do it within the confines of the system at hand. So it's a terrible system. Change the rule. Change the system. If the NCAA can't do it, maybe Congress can. Anyway, we'll get more info from that on that from Ross coming up in just a little bit. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. It's not just healthcare. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. Blasia and her team are awesome. If you need nursing care, they can come in-home, in the hospital with you as well. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. Like Paul O'Neill and his wife, they just had their second child. They got a 3-year-old, now a newborn. Probably going to be tough to get some Z's. You could bring in Decision Critical nurses, maybe one night, maybe multiple nights a week, whatever it may be. Watch the baby overnight while you sleep so you can be at your best during the day. Maybe it's end-of-life care. Maybe you're home after surgery and these nurses can help you post-operatively. Maybe you need blood draws. Maybe you need an IV. My wife, Erica, was sick a few weeks back. We had a Decision Critical nurse come to the house because she couldn't eat or drink anything. She couldn't keep anything down, so they gave her an IV in the home. It's not just healthcare. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. Decision Critical. All over the state of Louisiana. They have a Dallas office now as well. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Missouri Tigers.
Missouri has their QB1, not that it's really any surprise. Austin Simmons, the former Ole Miss quarterback transferring to Missouri, has been named their starting quarterback. Missouri making that announcement on their social media today that Simmons will, in fact, be QB1. Transferred from Ole Miss, enters the spring with rising sophomore Matt Zollers, who transferred, who's there at Mizzou as well. But Simmons, transferred in from Ole Miss, has been named the starter.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Kirby Smart gave an update on a couple of Georgia players that are going to miss spring practice as they recover from late season or off-season surgeries. So senior center Drew Bobo, remember it affected him late throughout that playoff run. He's out with that foot injury. Junior defensive tackle Jordan Hall with a knee. Senior linebacker Gabe Harris with a toe. Oh, Muse. Senior linebacker Gabe Harris going to miss spring with a toe.
You have to feel for Gabe Harris, man.
That toe's going to keep him out all spring.
Yeah. In his senior year, too.
When you got a toe, you don't sleep on the toe.
You don't.
You don't take a toe lightly.
You don't.
You got a toe, you got to take that seriously.
It can wreck your year, man, a toe.
Proceed with caution when you got a toe. And Gabe Harris.
He's got a toe.
He's got a toe. Tyron Jones has an ankle. Zayden Walker's got a shoulder, and Carter Lucky anything but with that knee injury.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Get it? Lucky? His name's Lucky.
A play on his last name. Yeah.
His name's Lucky, but he's got a knee injury.
So he's not
anything but.
He's not lucky.
With that knee injury. South Carolina assistant coach Mike Fury got a contract extension. He's now under contract through 2027. Base salary, $650K the next couple of years. Heading in his third year on staff in Columbia. There you have it. This is Around the SEC. We're brought to you by Rouse's, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouses.com, Rouses.com. Get the weekly ad there at Rouses.com. Always got stuff going on. Hey, remember tomorrow, Friday and Lent, you need seafood options. They've got hot, boiled Louisiana crawfish every single day over at Rouse's, but they also have the hot and boiled kiosk. So tons of different seafood options over at Rouse's. So check them out. Dinner for the whole family. They got you covered every single night of the week. Great lunch options as well at Rouse's. And if you're making groceries, they've been helping you do that here for 100 years. Rouses.com, Rouses.com. 76 locations, Lake Charles to Orange Beach, everywhere in between. It's Rouse's. This feels like home. Real quick, get you an update on the NCAA tournament. 4 games are final. TCU beat Ohio State in the 8-9 game. Louisville beat South Florida by 4. South Florida was a trendy pick in that game, weren't they? That was an 11-6 matchup. Louisville was down one of their top scorers, and do you not know anything about? Okay, never mind. I'm looking at you like you may know.
I don't know.
No worries,
Muse.
No worries. I'll ask Cassie next time.
Okay.
High Point beats Wisconsin in a 12-5 matchup.
That one was trendy.
Braden Simpson had 17 and 6 in that game.
Braden Simpson did not have 17 and 6 in that game.
How do you know?
Because he plays baseball for LSU now.
You don't know anything about this.
And he played baseball at High Point. I had High Point winning that game in my bracket.
Nobody cares. You don't even know anything about this.
In the bracket challenge that we do over here.
You know nothing about that. And then Nebraska beat Troy. Troy was another very popular pick. Otter and all of his cronies were all on Troy. Nebraska beat the ever-living mess.
I might have followed that.
76-47. Beat him by 30. Tell you what.
That one hurt a little bit this morning.
I ain't worried about it. It's your fault. Some games in action right now. Duke was trailing by double digits. They were down 11.5 against Siena. That's now a 1-point game with 5 and change to play. Michigan State up early on North Dakota State. Arkansas up 20-4 on Hawaii. They're approaching the midway point of the first half there in Portland. Vandy up 5 on McNeese. That one with about 13 minutes to play. The rest of the slate tonight as far as the SEC is concerned. Texas and BYU, that's an 11-6 matchup. Texas won their playing. By the way, I like Texas in that game.
Same.
But then again, Chris Marlar liked Texas in that game, so I might want to go the other way because he has been awful on his picks. Marlar's going to explain himself in hour number 3. A&M and St. Mary's tonight. That's a 6:35 game on True TV. Georgia, St. Louis. That's another 8-9 matchup. Georgia's a 2.5-point favorite. I think that's it for the SEC today. That's it for the SEC today. So as some of these other games go final, we'll keep you posted. Let me knock out our final break of hour number 1. Ross Jackson talks some Who Dat with us in 15 minutes. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After further review.
You've heard me talk about peptides for over a year now, and you're starting to hear more and more people talk about peptides. But I want you to remember, who is the first person telling you about peptides more than a year ago? Listen, I'm living proof, as I'm someone who takes peptides every day. BPC 157 has been incredible for tissue repair and recovery. NAD+, cellular optimization, great energy levels. You're quite literally reducing the cellular age of your body. There's so many amazing ways that peptides, which are strands of amino acids, are used to supplement and maximize your body's natural functions, whether it's mental clarity, waking energy, libido. It could be so many different things. And Goodwood has an amazing selection, so check them out at yourgoodwood.com. Lowest prices, never any contracts, yourgoodwood.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Get you caught up on national headlines from SportsCenter here in about a dozen minutes from right now. Ross Jackson, Ross Dellinger. Graph! What?
Yeah, you're right.
Give me some graph. The Pels beat the Clippers last night, one of the hottest teams in the NBA. Give me graph.
Out at the field.
Oh, what a pass!
To the slashing, running the floor, Makovich for the dunk.
Do you know who Makovich is?
Carlo Makovich.
Okay. Name 5 other players on the Pelicans right now.
Sadiq Bey. Trey Murphy.
Sadiq Bey. I'm going to tell you what.
Bro.
Sadiq Bey. If we go back to the season opener and get my comments on Sadiq Bey, they've not aged well. However, in fairness, he was bad at the beginning of this season. Anyway, but he's really good now. So, yeah, okay.
I mean, that's let's see. I'm up to 3. Does Mac?
No.
All right.
No, Carlos?
All right. So Sadiq Bey.
Yeah.
I said, who else did I say?
You said Trey Murphy.
Trey Murphy. Thank you. Zion.
Yeah.
Derek Queen.
Okay.
DeJounte Murray.
Okay.
Murray, present.
You gave yourself a Murray present.
Yeah.
Okay. You got anybody else? It's tough. Muse.
Hold on. Herb Jones.
It's a tough scene.
Herb's still there.
Not on Herb.
Oh, God, man.
Bless you, Cassie.
Need it.
They're kind of getting fun again. We'll talk to. We have not had reason to talk to Graf in a long time. This is a team that with what do they have? 17 games left. Check my math on that, please. I think it's 17 games left. They're not even at 30 wins. They've been bad. But like over the last month, you're like, oh, they're kind of playing better.
12 games.
They have 12 left. Okay,
12 games.
Sorry. Muse.
Yeah.
We don't math around here. You know that.
I was told there'd be no math club.
So we'll talk to Graf because they're getting to the point where they're going to have some decisions to make. Namely, who's going to be the head coach. I am still so pissed at this team for not top 10 protecting that draft pick. So you're going to go into this draft without your first round pick, which is atrocious. But anyway, it'll hamstring you in this offseason. But they got to hire a coach, and is James Borrego a real candidate? I don't know. I'm going to ask Graf. So anyway, that's all coming up. Hey, real quick, also coming up tomorrow is the deadline to sign up for the Parish Construction and Roofing $25K giveaway. Yes, you might think we're crazy, but we are giving away $25,000 cash to a Louisiana homeowner. All you have to do is sign up for a free, no obligation roofing inspection. No purchase necessary, nothing like that. You just got to let us inspect your roof. And you're entered. Somebody's winning $25K. But you got to enter by Friday at 5 p.m. That's the cutoff to enter because we have to perform the inspection before the drawing the following Friday. So that might just understand, like, you have to go fill out the form at our website by Friday at 5 p.m. to enter. So that's tomorrow, 5 p.m. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. The big splash screen that comes up on the website, big banner at the top, just click it, boom, fill out the form, and you're entered. parishbuilt.com. All right. Today was the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters Prestige Awards here in Baton Rouge, and our team at Guarantee Media cleaned up. So congrats to everybody. Our sister station, Eagle 98.1, was named the large market radio station of the year. The Dream Pool Sweepstakes won the promotion of the year. That was in conjunction with Dreams Come True of Louisiana. Our Guarantee 100 initiative, which you've heard us talk about for quite literally a year, whereas this company was turning 100 years old. We donated via the Guarantee Foundation $100,000 to both Dreams Come True of Louisiana and the ALS Association. It was a year-long promotion, and it was amazing. And that won the Community Service Award. Our friends at Talk 107.3 won the Best Election Coverage for Radio. Michelle Southern won the Lanyap Award. And then here at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, Paul O'Neill, for the second time, was named Producer of the Year. So congrats to Paul.
Paul O'Neill's name.
That's the Paulie. And AFR, again, won Best Sports Show, Large Market Radio. So I believe that's the 9th time that this show has won Best Sports Show. So we're humbled and flattered and thrilled. You don't get into media to win awards. It's just like that's not the reason you do it, but it's always nice to be recognized by your peers. And today was a great day for our company. And also major shout out to Delta Media, our affiliates at ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles. They cleaned up as well. Especially shout out to Kevin Foote, whose Foote's Fury won Best Use of Digital Media. And our guy D-Lo, Dawson Iserlo, was named a Young Professional of the Year. So well-deserving, and we're fired up. So congrats to all the winners, and thanks to everybody who voted at the LAB. Hour 2 next.
After further review.
We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. You can always start at firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Make sure your first call is First South Farm Credit. And remember, this is the time of year, and I know this resonates with so many people. This is really the busiest time of year when they come out of hunting season and people are just tired of sharing someone else's property, hunting on someone else's property on their lease. And so they're like, I'm not doing it anymore. I want my own. If that's you and you're ready to start that process, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Because since 1916, for 110 years, First South Farm Credit has done one thing: help Louisianians buy land. So your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthland.com. FirstSouthland.com.